Hello, my friend and earthly neighbor, and welcome back to the final and fourth week of what I call Awesome August. And the reason why it's awesome is because of this week. We start the week with a total solar eclipse in Leo. I've been preaching and teaching about that since April. And Sensei says this quantum eclipse is the start of a new reality. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Hello and welcome to Namaste Today, an optimistic way to kickstart the day. I'm your heartfelt host and what I call the Sensei to some serious joy, Christopher Witecki. Thanks for joining me, my friend. Namaste. Well, these are galactic times indeed. Probably every astrologer on the planet is talking about it. We have a great American solar eclipse on Monday of this week. It's at step 28, and it grand trines into Uranus, Saturn, Black Lilith, and the galactic center. In simple terms, this is a life-changing, fated, perhaps destined moment in your life. And in today's tea time, I'm going to dive deep in what it means for all 12 signs. Also, later in our segment this week, I'm going to talk about the aftermath of the eclipse and what you can expect as Mercury goes retrograde and reality warps in Virgo. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Monday, August 21st to Friday, August 25th, 2017. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Well, looking at the week at a glance, it starts off super intense with the solar eclipse and then just gets more bizarre. Let's drill down. On Monday, it's sunny and super manifesting as a total solar eclipse knocks it out of the park at step 28. On Tuesday, it's sunny, but you will be tested. We'll be at the final step 29, and the moon in Virgo makes things feel odd. On Wednesday, it's cloudy and bizarre as step 0 rules the day, and the moon in Virgo makes it extremely real. On Thursday, it's sunny and serene, probably the first rainbow of the week, as step 1 rules the day and the moon balances out in Libra. But Friday, it's cloudy with a chance of moodiness as Saturn goes direct and feelings get serious. So this week is really a powerful week of ending the summer and officially beginning the fall. And this next segment next week, I'm going to talk to you about the aftermath of the solar eclipse. Taking a sneak peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week Holy Shift Week because I believe we will go through a holy shift. And I must say, I must underscore this, that although we have this gigantic solar eclipse and it's trining into so much energy, because Mercury is retrograded, most of us will experience this eclipse and this solar shift inside of us. All right, it's going to be an inner shift that always leads to outer change, but mostly, Sensei says, inner. Now, the week begins with the solar eclipse, and believe it or not, solar eclipses are actually very quiet events. If you don't know, it's when the sun and the moon and the earth align, and in the United States, the moon is going to completely block the sun and create a shadow on the earth. So, the moon is our emotions. And so what happens is our emotions' shadow falls on the earth, which means it's the death of some sort of feeling. And because it's tied to the sun, it's the death of some sort of feeling tied to some sort of heartfelt attachment, which is what the sun is, our heart. And because the sun is in Leo, it's probably a heartfelt attachment to the core. So in a very simple way, Sensei says we will be officially letting go of some old heartfelt attachment, if we haven't already, and be setting our sights onto a new heartfelt attachment inside. Now, in practical terms, if you want to be a good manifester of reality, this probably comes down to you kneeling before your bed and wishing upon a star. Like, that's the actual spiritual work here. But when we manifest on earth, it begins with a change of our own heart, a dedication of our own heart. And that's what this solar eclipse is. It's a dedication of our heart in a new direction. And in today's tea time, I'll get a little deeper for what that means for all 12 signs. But on Monday itself, I actually predict it to be a pretty quiet day. New moons are quiet days always. I myself usually get very tired right before a new moon or right after. But the excitement of an eclipse, as far as human beings being excited about it, usually does bring a lot more intense energy. And there quite often are geological events such as volcanoes, earthquakes, things like that, that do happen in this eclipse. And that has been observed since mankind has been writing these events down. But other than that, I actually think for most people, Monday will be very quiet. Step 28 rules the day. And there's a major grand trine, which I'll talk about in the tea time as far as how that works. So Monday's a good day. Tuesday, however, is going to be overcast, cloudy, and tested. In fact, you may feel tested to the brim on everything. After wishing upon a star on the solar eclipse and having these high hopes for the future, it's almost like reality will come crashing in on Tuesday. And so you might get some effects that you do not want to experience on Tuesday. Now, a lot of people have profound effects that happen to them during a solar eclipse, and those profound effects are, you know, selling a house, hearing about a death, a new marriage, like, you know, big changes in people's lives. And I have to say that in most cases, those changes can happen 2 days before up to 2 days after the eclipse event. That's been my experience. But on Tuesday, if something negative is going to happen, something that's going to be challenging, or if there's going to be fallout or aftermath from the eclipse, my prediction is it'll happen Tuesday. So Tuesday is a very tested day. Be very careful. Things will feel very real. Step 29 rules the day. But there is a lot of God energy on the planet that day. Mercury's at step 7. Venus is at step 25. And the other good thing is that Jupiter moves now up to step 20, which means that our stories about life becoming fair actually go up a notch. So we're now ready for things to go fair and to be fair. So Monday quiet, Tuesday kind of weird. Wednesday cloudy and bizarre. That's because we're going to be at 0 degrees Virgo. Virgo energy, in my opinion, is kind of bizarre. It's very real. It's hyper real. It's kind of the energy of where we pay attention to cracks in things and we notice, you know, things we don't normally notice. So it's always kind of bizarre because we see and feel details we don't normally feel. Because we had a solar eclipse on Monday, it's highly probable that you don't feel the effects of the eclipse until Wednesday. You might see fallout Tuesday, but in Wednesday will probably be the first day where you're like, I don't think I'm in Kansas anymore. Something has changed. Something has shifted. Food tastes different. Colors are brighter. And that's the kind of sensory change I often have when I do a dimensional shift and I change to a new story. So Wednesday is very bizarre. So if you're planning this week, don't plan anything important on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, okay? Because it's just going to be out of this world. And let's not forget Mercury is retrograde, which means that we're not really thinking with our normal hemisphere. We're getting information incorrect. Technology is flipping out. Thursday, however, sunny and serene is my prediction. I think that it'll be 1 degree. We will be in Virgo. 1 degree is a very loving and good degree. The moon is in Libra, so things will balance out. And so if the eclipse period is very stormy for you, I would say by Thursday things really come out to play. Thursday is also a new deal for your heart. So you're going to kind of come out of your house and feel like it's a new day, that there's some new part of your chapter. Mars is at step 22 Leo is why I come up with that. And Venus is at step 28 Cancer, which means the new feeling of being us, the feeling of being us, the feeling of life is starting to gel on Thursday. So you could say things don't feel normal until Thursday. Then on Friday, it's going to be cloudy and super moody. In fact, I'll just say right now, from Friday till Sunday, that's when people will actually deal with the reality of the shift of whatever the eclipse means, whatever it is your heart hoped for, whatever people have told you. It's not just what you're going for in your heart. It's that everyone everywhere is wishing. And so by Friday, you might start to get some information in that your best friend's moving to Jamaica, or your favorite restaurant is closing or whatever, just because people have had changes of heart. So it looks like the crummiest part of the week will actually be from Friday until Sunday, as we are emotionally coping with the fact that reality is changing. Plus, Mercury is retrograde, so everyone is taking things too far and not thinking in their right mind. So it is a week of holy shift, and I do believe we are all headed for something higher, something greater, something for our greatest good, and tied to the story we were born to live. So with that said, go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. This week's tea time topic is the Great American Solar Eclipse. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I've been talking about this for months. I happen to think this is a profound turning point in our entire generation's story. And I could do a whole episode on that. I probably will do a tea time on that, just how I feel like this is a huge turning point. And I just got to say, and I said this earlier, just because it's a huge turning point doesn't mean you're going to see gigantic changes in your outer life. That's not been my experience as Sensei. What I've experienced as Sensei is that it's at a time like this that people very quietly in their home, maybe in their rocking chair, maybe watching Wheel of Fortune with their husband, maybe cooking dinner, maybe mowing the lawn, doing something that they always do. But in that moment, as in this Great American Solar Eclipse, they suddenly raise their head up and go, you know what? My heart used to want this, and now I think my heart wants that. And that, my friend, is the gigantic shift ahead of us. It's a quiet inner shift that will create profound change. And let me outline it for you. I've talked about it before. First of all, the eclipse itself is at step 28, Leo. Step 28 is the grand manifestation step. Anyone who's born as a step 28 is someone who can just snap their fingers and usually bring things together. They may not be aware of that, but they're capable of it. Leo is our heart, which is the source of all of our love energy. So if we're doing a grand manifestation from our heart, it has the highest probability of manifesting in astrological metaphysics, all right? So I would say the only thing second to step 28 Leo would be step 28 Taurus, which is the manifestation sign. Equally or incredibly powerful. Be a hard race there. Wouldn't know how that one would turn out. So this eclipse, because the sun goes dark and goes light again, that means that's literally the changing of the channel. That's the way I see it. So the sun never goes dark, right? It's always full bright on our earth as far as we know. And the fact that it turns off and turns on again is a big deal. When it turns off, our heart technically is letting go of an old attachment. And when it turns on, our heart is attaching to a new attachment. Now, we had a lunar eclipse in Aquarius 2 weeks ago that helped us to let go of things our heart was attached to. And you may be including those things in this eclipse. You may be, saying once again, you're letting go of this or letting go of that. But most likely, whatever you're letting go of in this eclipse is even deeper to what you had to let go of 2 weeks ago. It's my experience, the universe has to really work on people. Got to get you to let go of this before we can even talk you into letting go of that, so to speak. So it's probably something deeper, something more profound, something much more private. And it's likely something that goes back to childhood. If nothing else, it goes back to 1998 to 2000. That was the last time we had an eclipse season in Leo. It's the last time we had the North Node in Leo. It's the last time the universe was saying, hey, let go of one attachment, hold on to another. However, in that eclipse period, it wasn't an American eclipse. It didn't go dark in America. And so the United States itself wasn't focused on in that eclipse. In this particular case, the United States is. And I think that's very important for all sorts of reasons. Mostly that we have the biggest military and there's nothing about love in military. So I think this is a vote for more love at minimum. Now, that said, making this even more profound, and I brought this up before, at the moment of the eclipse, we have what we call a grand trine in fire. The sun will be trining, on the one hand, to Uranus in Aries at 28 degrees also, retrograde. And Uranus has been in Aries since 2012. It went into Aries just before the Mayan shift. The Mayan shift in 2012 was in December, if you remember, and that was the time when the universe was saying, okay, it's time to enlighten ourselves. And Uranus went into Aries at that time, Aries being human ego. And basically at that time, Uranus started innovating human ego, getting us ready for this Mayan shift. Probably the only thing in the way of the Mayan shift or our enlightenment was that damn ego. Now that Uranus is at step 28 and retrograde, it means that every human on Earth has now rebuilt their ego according to new standards. They may be enlightened standards or not. Some people might have dug their heels in more. It's a free will opportunity here. But the point is we now have that new beta version of our new ego. So this solar eclipse, for something our heart desires, ties directly into the new man or the new woman that we've been working on since 2012. But wait, there's more. Order now, and you'll also get the third trine is Saturn. Saturn is what we take responsibility for. Saturn is in Sagittarius, which is basically our collective consciousness, the Akashic records incarnated, human culture, philosophy, travel, religion, basically all of our beliefs about what all stories will be. Saturn will be conjuncting Black Lilith at step 21. Black Lilith is our worst fears, so what this means is that at this moment, Saturn will be taking responsibility for our worst fears. That's huge. In other days, you could manifest all you want, but your fears brought you down. In this manifestation, the universe is saying, oh no, it's something your heart wants, it's a new you, and it's fearless. And not only is it fearless, but Saturn's at step 21, that's the Grandmaster step of Sagittarius 3, which means this is a core belief, and it's conjuncting the galactic center at step 27, just 6 steps away. So what that means is we are in this one moment, okay, uniting something our heart sets an intention for, a new heart attention that ties into a new person that we have become, that ties into a new story and a new belief that we want to live, that ties into the story we were born to live, the galactic center, and is fearless. Okay? This is why I think this is such a powerful moment. One of the most powerful I have ever experienced as an astrologer in observation. And I've done a lot of little radio shows that talks about it. So, that's why it's a big deal. The last little thing I'll throw on there just for fun is, and Mercury is retrograde. Now the thing is if there's something that's in the way of the manifestation, it's usually fear, Black Lilith, or what I call the smartass, which is your mind. And so in this particular eclipse, the universe has covered our fears and has made Mercury retrograde, which is basically a way of making our mind spiritually drunk during the event. Our normal logic will have a difficult time interfering. So I want to leave each of you with a little understanding of how it unites the 3 parts of you here for this solar eclipse. This is part of my new format. I always want to do astrology on my weekly shows. And in this, I want to talk to you just real quick about what you're uniting for your sun sign. Many people ask, does your rising sign count? Yes, especially now your rising sign counts. Your B story is very important. It's a story of who you are becoming and who you wish to become. And so it tells us the goals that you are setting and maybe already achieving with this eclipse. So for Aries, the solar eclipse is creating a new vision of personal dreams. This is going to tie into literally a new character you've been working on since 2012. And this will tie into a new understanding of life that you've been working on since 2014. So for you, it's your personal dreams going to a new level, creating a new version of who you are, making a new purpose for why you're alive. Gigantic for Aries. Taurus, you are manifesting in this solar eclipse a new kingdom, a new queendom, a new emotional foundation where you hopefully feel stronger, more stable, and more nurtured. This foundation ties into a new spiritual faith you've been working on in yourself since 2012, and this ties into a transformation of yourself that you've been working on since 2014. So Tauruses are going to change in front of your eyes. They're going to change their shape and the way they act because they feel grounded and they have faith now. And they say a Taurus never changes. Just saying. Geminis. Geminis, this solar eclipse is a bright new found a bright new idea, a creative idea that gets your brains really excited. And this creative idea ties into a new social reputation or a new belonging that you've been working on since 2012. And this ties into relationships that you are now entering. So the relationships you're entering right now are fated and destined. Just like the changes Tauruses are making are fated and destined, just like the life purpose that Arises have found now are fated and destined, by the way, by the Galactic Center. Cancer, you are manifesting a new sense of worth. That's abundance, what you really feel you're worth. And that worth ties into a new career legacy that you've been working on since 2012. And that ties into a new destined way of living every moment. So Cancers are going to get a new work style, a new legacy, and a new value. They're going up. They're moving up like the Jeffersons. Leo. Leo is creating a new ego motive. That means they want to be someone else. They want to be something else. They want to shine for different reasons now. And this new shine ties into their life purpose. So they've been trying to have more meaning in their shine. So now there's meaning behind their shine. And this ties into their personal dreams, which are destined. So for Leos, this new version of who you are, it's your destiny. It's also your purpose to be this person. So move forward, don't be afraid. Virgos. Virgos are manifesting in this eclipse a new higher faith. This could also be a spiritual mission or a spiritual calling that they feel. So they feel called, to be there in Cuba to help out, or they feel this mission to help children or something very powerful. And this calling is what makes them move forward with transforming their life. Virgos are very, very reluctant to change things, okay? Because they always think things are breaking down. So this will help them change their life. And by changing their life, this is going to create the home and the family they were destined to be with. A lot of Virgos say they were not meant to be born with the family they were born with. You're about to find the family you were meant to be born with this transformation. It comes from the new faith. Libras. Libras are feeling a new social calling. And I've been talking to a lot of Libras. Part of that calling is they're not everyone's slave anymore. That they're not everyone's helper. That they're not going to be here for everyone. They're getting more exclusive, I've found. So Libras find a new social calling in the world. This transforms into a new way of relating to people. In most cases, they're now going to be more fair and more honest. A lot of Libras actually aren't honest because they're trying to be nice. And so they actually will cheat a little bit in order to be nice. So they kind of cheat in order to be nice sometimes. So they're actually getting into more relationship integrity by being honest with who they really are and who they want to be. And what this does is this ties into a new mindset, a new attitude, a new way of thinking, a new diplomacy, if you will, and it all centers because they have this vision of who they want to be in the world. Scorpios. Super excited about Scorpios. They're manifesting a new career legacy, okay? And Scorpios are very black and white. So they thought they would never make it. If they weren't rich by 25, they were never going to be rich. They went very black and white about it. But now they're going, you know what? I have this new legacy. And this legacy ties into a new lifestyle for them, a new way of living in the moment, maybe where you're not the slave, or you're not talked down to, or you're not neglected, right? And this ties into you're basically into your abundance. So what the universe is saying is you were destined to be worth more. You were destined to manifest and make things, but you had to change what you were aiming for in your career, and you had to change the quality of your life if you want to have that money. So these are all coming together with this eclipse. Sagittarius is affected very heavily. Sagittarius are basically clarifying their life purpose. So a Sag is like a constant questioner. They have a million questions but never have the answer. They're the forever teacher, the forever student, right? Well, what's going to happen is they're going to come up with a theory finally, a theory about how they believe life is. And once a Sag believes in it, it actually happens. So this new belief is going to create a new passion and new love. Any single Sagittarius, you won't be single after you have this new belief. It was part of the problem. And this actually changes and goes into your real character. So the character you were born to be, is tied into the belief that you now have and you now create. And it will be the love of your life. It will be the passion of your life. So just focus on what brings you meaning in this eclipse. Capricorns. Capricorns are going to commit to a personal transformation, which is a huge thing when Capricorns decide to change. This transformation turns into a new emotional security that they have never felt before. They may seem like stable rocks, but they actually are very emotionally insecure most of the time. And this is going to transform into their real spiritual fate. We have a little bit of airplane going on over here, but I'm going to keep going. So for Capricorns, you're committing to transform your life. It's going to bring you emotional security. And that is going to put you in line with what your real fate was. So you could say that the reason why you weren't on your fated path was because you were refusing to change. Just saying. Aquariuses. Aquariuses are going to commit in this eclipse to a new marriage approach, a new way of being in relationships. And that's probably less detached, more loving, by the way. Aquariuses tend to be, I think they're going to be more attached. This is going to change to a whole new way of thinking, now that they're not thinking so alone and so isolated, but part of a unit. And what this is going to turn into is your real place in society. So what the stars are saying is you haven't found your place in the world because you weren't in the right relationships and you weren't thinking correctly. All right? And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces are going to commit to a new way of life. That could be retired, easygoing, stressless. I mean, I know Pisces are here to be chill. But by committing to a new health and a new way of life, loving yourself in the moment, this will actually bring you into the money that you deserve. So your abundance has been somewhat held back by the fact that you have not been committed to a certain lifestyle. All right? And what this trines into is your career and legacy. So by choosing the lifestyle your heart wants, you will make the money you deserve, and you will be on the path you were meant to be, the path of the legacy, or the legacy you will leave behind. So you can tell for all the 12 signs, this is very powerful. Yes, look it up for your sun and your rising sign. I hope it's beneficial to you both. Couple of little announcements I want to say. For one, happy birthday to Jill Muffler. Jill Muffler, if you don't know, works with me. She is a grandiose Leo. She's having the solar eclipse on her birthday, so you've probably seen her in the clubs. You've seen her respond. She's very, very loving and very giving. I'm so grateful for you, Jill. Happy birthday, dear. Thank you for being a part of Serious Joy. And for others, we're going to be continuing this path with Serious Joy. If you haven't joined my personal Sensei service, you may want to give it a try, because we still have 10 more days of focus of manifesting this particular solar eclipse. And then I'm going into a program to help people change their reality, change their life. Everything up until now has been kind of wishing behind a star. Next, we move into taking actual action. So if you haven't signed up, you should give it a try at SeriousJoy.com. All right, friends, that's all I have for the week. I'll be back for tea time Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Friday live, of course, will be this Friday. Until then, have a fabulous solar eclipse. I'll see you on the other side of the new reality. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.
So